WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from Kilchoman Fino Sherry 2020. Ooh. This is whiskey base number 166153. This is 46%. This is one of 10,500 bottles. And over here in Germany, we have a price of about 80 euros for this. All right, very good. Now, I must admit, this is for me absolutely something. This is new area, new country, new land. Because I am not a big fan of Kilchoman. At least I thought I wasn't. I just booked a house on the island of Islay for May 2022. So I hope I can make it over there, despite all of the travel restrictions in this year. And I'm going to visit basically all 10 of the different distilleries on Islay, I hope within 6 days. Fingers crossed. All right, so Kilchoman will be there as well. So what we have here is basically 12 casks. We have 11 fresh Fino Sherry Butts and 1 refill Fino Sherry Butt. So 11 casks, I just divided 10,500 divided by 12. I got 857 bottles. And then I actually did the math real quick and just went, wait, that's 612 liters per cask. A butt has 500. It's like, oh yeah, don't forget, Jason, that's 46%. So you put it in the cask at maybe 63.5%. You have to dilute it. Absolutely works out. So you can get 10,500 bottles at 46% from 12 casks. I, at the moment, currently own 9 casks in Ireland and Scotland and Germany. The 10th is I'm working on it. That's a lot of bottles. All right, I did cask shares, so don't worry. I'm not going to get all those bottles myself. Now, what I'm going to do at the very beginning is I'm going to compare it to a Fino Sherry wine. So I have something from the Stow here. This is a 15%. Now, there are 2 different, basically, types of sherries. You have the sherries with this so-called flor. Flor is a yeast layer on top of the liquid itself, which prevents the oxygen from interacting with the liquid. It's like a blanket on top. And it's F-L-O-R, flor. And you can see that this is very, very, very bright, very light, very straw colored. Now, this whiskey over here was actually in wood. So we have here, I don't know if the fresh butts were American oak. I think so. I don't have the feeling or the taste that they were any European oak involved in this. Doesn't say actually. Nope. So now I do know that according to the box and according to the online information that these Fino Sherry casks previously used by the Bodega Miguel Martin in Spain. And during its time in the cask, this whiskey has taken on this fresh green apple character and Fino from the Fino cask, balancing beautifully the citrus sweetness, the cooked fruits, and the maritime peat smoke of the Kilchoman distillery. All right, so one other thing before I continue on here, I have my wonderful book where all my brain is outsourced to, because we have this crazy guy. His name is Anthony Wills. And Anthony Wills basically opened up his distillery in 2005. 2002, he had the idea to do this, and it was basically a farm. And he turned a farm into a distillery so they could do grain to glass. Now, this was the very, very first distillery that opened on Islay for over 124 years. That's a fairly long time. Anthony was actually on the by Aquavite on one of his live streams. If you get the chance, go over there, watch it. It's 2 hours of just going, wow. All right, Aaron's story is wow, but Kilchoman's even more wow, if you ask me personally. So what they have is they have a problem with capacity. Now they are running about 375,000 liters a year. They do have the capacity to run, according to the book, for 450. But in order to do that in 2019, they basically built a second distillery, mirroring the existing one. I hope to see that in May of 2022. And also what they have done is they've expanded. They now have 2 stainless steel semi-Lauter mash tanks, or tons, better said. They have 12 stainless steel 6,000 liter washbacks, with an average fermentation time of 90 hours, and they have 2 pairs of stills, so they have total 4 stills now. All right, before it was just 2. And so they planned in 2020 to produce 350,000 liters, which is not a lot. All right, so it's one of the smaller distilleries. Knivi. All right, wait. Kaninvi, exactly, got it, produces, for example, 4.8. And if I just go to the next page here, Yoda produces 2.4. Highland Park produces 2.5. Glen Tauchers is 4.2. Glen Turret is 340,000 as well, basically. And so this is one of the somewhat smaller distilleries. All right, very, very good. So this guy was crazy enough to do this. So first of all, I'm going to taste the sherry. The sherry notes that I get, first of all, are a little bit of I'm going to say vinegar. I'm sorry. So it should be a sharp, delicate bouquet, slightly reminiscent of almonds, with a hint of fresh dough, I'm reading, and wild herbs, light, dry, and delicate on the palate, leaving a pleasant, fresh aftertaste of almonds. All right, that is from the sherry.wine website for Fino Sherry. I'm not very, very, very good at this. All right, we have Manzanilla, we have Amontillado. Those are also that have the floor. We have Pedro Jimenez, which is a different type of grape. We have Muscatel, which is a different type of grape. But we have Oloroso, which is actually the same type of grape, Palomino, and that is actually without the floor on it. And so the oxygen gets in contact with the white wine and turns it darker. Palo Catado starts off with that floor, and then that actually dies off, and it turns into an oxidated sherry as well. So very, very interesting. If you really want to know about what sherry does to your whiskeys, please, please try that. At the moment, I have an experiment going on. I bought 7 different types of Lustau sherries from Fino all the way up to Pedro Jimenez and Moscatel. I bought 8 bottles of whiskey. They were Glencadam, 10 years old. I have the control whiskey, which has nothing in there, and I put 4.5 milliliters of each and every sherry type into those different bottles. And we're going to do a blind tasting with 20-some people, and we're going to see the influence in a scientifically controlled manner. How sherry influences our whiskeys without the influence of wood actually adding onto it. So I'm really, really excited to see this experiment, which will happen in the middle of June. Fingers crossed that we learn a lot. Okay, and everyone gets a sample of the sherry, and everyone gets a sample of the whiskey that has been sherried. Okay. That almond dough is not bad. There's another note in here. Oh well. Cheers. Tart, bitter, a little bit of a acidity, a little bit like a grapefruit. Yes, I get the nutty almond moment. Not my cup of tea. Now, let's go over here to a Kilchoman. Kilchoman has become a little bit of a hyper product at the moment. A little bit. Springbanks are gone before they even hit the shelves. Kilchoman's hit the shelves and they're gone, at least over here in Germany and Europe. So this, the 10,000 bottles, 10,500 bottles, whatever we get in Germany, we usually get about 20% of that often. So that would be about 2,500 bottles. They're gone fairly quickly. Yes, there are still some very shops that have risen the price by about 10 to 15 euros higher, where you can still almost find something, but the normal price bottles have been bought up and hopefully actually opened and tried. Now what I get is a very, very salty, ashy moment. I am not the biggest fan of Kilchoman, but I'm becoming an admirer of the distillery. And I do think the Fino works well with the Kilchoman, much better than I would have thought, actually. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get rid of our Fino. And I'm going to pull out something that you might have seen if you haven't seen the Kilchoman Fino Sherry. This is the Machiabe. I think it's like 85% bourbon. It's either 80 or 90, so I'm going to go for 85% bourbon, and only a small portion would be sherry. This is uniquely Islay, is what they say here. This is something you can buy for 35 euros over here in Germany. So this is not something that's very, very expensive. So I could get two of these for one of these, basically. This is no age statement. Over here, we had whiskey that was distilled in 2016 as well as 2014. So basically, it's a mix of 4 and 6 year old products. And so it has to be, according to the law, 4 year old whiskey. So you do notice that the Fino has more color, which is very, very good. And the Machebe is a little bit of a brighter straw color. All right, on the nose, much, much more of the peat, of the ash, of the salt. And here the peat has dissipated. Now I must admit I might be suffering from something called barrel or bottle change. This is over a year old. It's not 2 years old yet, but it's over a year. It's been in the bottle. This is not something I drink. It's something I share with people who like to drink it. And so this bottle has been very, very slowly going down in its fill level. On the nose, less peat. Therefore, I like this a tiny little better, but this is actually interesting. So my expectations are here. And so if it's even here, I'm going to be happy. So sometimes I have expectations here, and when it's only here, I'm very disappointed, even though that whiskey is a good one. It has a lot to do with my expectations and my hopes. All right, cheers. Mm. Mm. The Fino Sherry is really, really interesting at the beginning. The sweetness is a green apple, and then that salty, peaty ashiness kicks in. I'm very happy that I waited almost 6 years now, 5 years of doing the YouTube channel, and the next year I have to wait again to go to Islay because I wasn't ready. I'm barely ready now, but in a year from now, I hope I'm going to be ready to actually experience and be there and soak in all that Islay experience and all those different distilleries. I really think Kilchoman is a distillery to continue to watch, and I'm looking forward to trying more of their bottlings. If you followed my channel for any time, you know that I am not a peat head. I'm sorry. If you follow my channel, you know I was not a peat head, and I'm starting to become someone who likes peat. And this is something I really enjoy. This is a C plus whiskey. Wow. I'm not really sure of the price. 80 euros for the bottle of a 4 year old whiskey. I'm going to give it a D plus for the value for money. But this is a better tasting whiskey than much better tasting than the Machebe. The Machebe is somewhat metallic, somewhat youthful, somewhat a little bit tiny little bit not where it could and where it should be in maybe a couple years from now. Cheers. Mhm. Any day of the week, this is not bad. This is okay. It's okay for a beginning. It's okay for a evening at home. The yeah, it's very citrus. There's a little bit of a orange peel in there, more of a lemon peel, and then there's a saltiness and the peat kicks in. This is just all dialed up. This is much better. This is more cohesive. It's more of oily. It's much more of a presence for the mouth feel. I actually like this a lot. I think someone else is going to say this is absolute their wheelhouse. Some people said it's extremely dry. I would not say it's extremely dry, but it is a dry whiskey. And other people are like, I'm not sure about it. Take a look at the Whiskybase number if you'd like. That is then 166153. You can see all the different opinions about it. I'm a little bit late to the party with this as well, but it's very, very interesting to try this and see that I like Kilchoman. Wow. So my question of the day is, what is your favorite Kilchoman expression that you've had? Is it a lochmore, a lachmoch? I don't know what it's called. Or is it the Machebe? Is it Sanink? I don't even know if I pronounced that correctly. What was it here? Good, Kilchoman. It's called Loch Gorm. Okay. Is it maybe the 100% Islay barley? Is it the Amborach, the Mess? What is your favorite Kilchoman? Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, tell others, maybe even share this video on social media with someone who also is a big fan of the Kilchoman distillery. Thank you very much. All the best. Whiskey Jason here. Bye-bye.